Welcome to this podcast from the Insolvency Service. I'm Ade Daramy, and in today's edition we look at the biennial review of ORS Secretary of State IP Rota. And here to tell us all about it is David Chapman, the Senior Official Receiver. Now David, in the recent Insolvency Service newsletter, you mentioned that the central management team for ORS had recently undertaken a review of the Secretary of State ORS IP Rotas. And I'd like to explore what this involved and start with what is the purpose of these IP Rotas?
So the October 2014 saw the relaunch by my team of the revised official receivers rotas, insolvency practitioner appointments by the Secretary of State. The purpose of these insolvency practitioner rotas is to ensure a fair distribution of those cases where the creditors haven't nominated an insolvency practitioner and in which the official receiver decides there is a need for a Secretary of State appointment, and to ensure that in making those appointments, bankrupts, directors and creditors are not inconvenienced by the location of the insolvency practitioner.
Now you mentioned location there. Does that mean that there are a number of IP rotas?
Yes, that's right, Ade. Each official receiver operates a rota for each office location in his or her command, and each rota covers the geographical area covered by the county court hearing centres with bankruptcy jurisdiction for which the official receiver has responsibility.
So exactly what information is recorded on a rota?
The rotas contain details of local licensed insolvency practitioner firms who are willing to accept Secretary of State appointments, and a record is kept of insolvency practitioners and their appointments. The rotas record details of the cases offered, accepted and rejected by each insolvency practitioner, along with the official receiver office dealing with the administration of the case.
I see. So if there are local offices dealing with it, why is there a need to review this centrally?
Well, the official receivers undertake a periodic audit and review of the operation and membership of their rotas, but biennially the rotas are overhauled centrally, and each insolvency practitioner wishing to remain on the rotas required to recertify. It's a big task to undertake. I have to say most of the hard work was undertaken by the frontline staff in the official receiver commands. The newly issued certificates took effect on the 1st of October 2014 and they'll last for 2 years. Failure to recertify results in removal from the rota. There are guidelines issued to official receivers and insolvency practitioners about inclusion on and maintenance of the local rotas.
What exactly are the guidelines intending to achieve?
I think in short, transparency. Official receivers carry out periodic visit to the premises of the insolvency practitioner firms on the rota to ensure compliance with the criteria for inclusion, and a large number of compliance visits were undertaken by official receiver staff as a part of this biennial review. Where the official receiver becomes aware that an insolvency practitioner firm on the rota fails to meet that criteria, then the firm will be removed from it, and if appropriate, subject to any representations that the firm may make, the official receiver will consider reporting the insolvency practitioner to their recognised professional body.
And where can one view this IP rota?
The rota is publicly available on the gov.uk website. This includes details of the IP firms on every local office rota, the criteria for inclusion in a local rota, and the official receiver's guidelines are also published on the website. Any complaints regarding the operation of the rota will be dealt with by the official receiver in the first instance under the Insolvency Service complaints procedure, and there is a right of appeal to me as the senior official receiver.
And for insolvency practitioners, what does this all mean for them?
For insolvency practitioners, it means they'll benefit from the increased confidence that comes from this greater transparency. I have to say many in the profession welcome our profession because, after all, it's in everybody's interest to ensure consistency of approach.
David Chapman, Senior Official Receiver, thank you for that. A very comprehensive statement on the biennial review of the ORS Secretary of State Insolvency Practitioner Rota.
Okay, thank you, Ade.
Now, to keep up with news about the Insolvency Service, you can find us on gov.uk and on Twitter. And our Twitter handle is @InsolvencyGovUK. Thank you for listening.